Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today I wanted to take the time to talk about how to get your fire res to the 200 stat that is essentially required. And you might snap at me right there and say, it's 226, Kaghoe. What are you talking about? Well, I will tell you what I'm talking about, because pretty much everyone will have a druid with improved Mark of the Wild in their raid team. But before we get into the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Everything you guys do helps my channel grow, helps me get discovered, and helps me help as many people as possible, which is the entire point of my channel. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So in order to go from Heat 2 to Heat 3, it is a massive jump in fire res. And there are a number of things that you will be able to do in order to get said fire res. So I want to show you just all the methods I know, and this is something that I did recently because we're getting ready to do our Heat 3 run. So right here I am just Heat 2 geared. Essentially I don't have any special FR on. I just have my 4 tier piece, a Crimson Shocker wand, and I have the 20 FR2 cape from my Brilliant Chromactic Cloak. I do not have it on the pants, and I do not have it on my head. Those are both 8 spell power for Heat 2 and pumping max damage. And that puts me at 104 fire res, and this is with the improved Mark of the Wild buff, which gives you 27 FR. Now, when we are going from that 96 mark, whether you have it with 69 FR and a Mark of the Wild, or you are just there from having your gear from raiding Heat 2 a bunch, both are acceptable. But there are a few things that you need to take into account in order to get it. The easiest way I would recommend is to have your 6-piece of your tier gear. So right here I have an Arcanist belt, I have a crown, and then I am going to get the bindings hopefully this week, and then I'm going to put on fine flare core pieces. The additional tier and going to a 6-piece is very, very valuable. Most classes, at least caster classes, use their tier 0.5, which is more spell power and more DPS. However, it does not have the FR on it, so when you're going to Heat 3, I would just replace those pieces with tier. So for me, it is my helm and wrists as a mage, so I'm putting the helm on. Hopefully, I do not have the wrists yet, but hopefully I will get those soon. And then we are going to use the fine flare core pieces. So these pieces that I would highly recommend you use are legs and shoulders. The reason you use legs and shoulders is because your legs, at least for a mage, do not have hit on them. You do lose some crit, but the fine flare core can have the 20 FR leg enchant on it as well. And then I would use the fine flare core mantle, because this also has an enchant slot from Argent Dawn. When you are revered with Argent Dawn, you can get 5 fire res. When you become exalted with Argent Dawn, you can get even more fire res. I think it goes up to 15, but grinding exalted is quite a grind, so it's not very reasonable to expect you to have that. However, those are the 2 juiciest FR pieces for the least amount of power loss. So I would highly recommend you do shoulder and legs, because the enchants you put on them can make all the difference. As well as if you are swapping out your helm for your tier helm for the 0.5 helm, I would highly recommend also putting 20 FR on that. The pieces, your leg and helm, need the 20 FR, so whether they are pieces you currently actively use, a duplicate, or something that you craft, definitely would recommend those. Next, we get into attunements and that type of gear. So there are 3 quest chains that have really good pieces of gear that you will consider putting on to hit your FR. So we're at this 191 with the Mark of the Wild. We need to get it to 226. So the biggest piece that everyone should be trying to get is the Tactical Loop for casters, and I forget the name of the other ring, but it is from the Hydraxian Waterlord quest chain. So you have to go to Silithus, and you have to go to EPL and get bracers. Then you have to go into Ubers and defeat Lord Pyron, and then Overseer Pyron, the first boss there. And then after you kill him, you have to go into the Molten Core, kill 4 pieces of trash, be honored with Hydraxian Waterlords, which if you are doing your dailies, you should absolutely be doing your dailies by now for that 20 FR cloak from Hydraxian Waterlords or Thorian Brotherhood. You get that at honored, so very, very important that you do that. And then you will get the Hands quest, and this is the Aquatal Quintessence or Eternal Quintessence quest chain that allows you to douse runes to summon Major Domo to then summon Ragnaros. And so doing this quest chain rewards you with a 20 FR ring that has Stam, spell power, and then the attack power version of it has 20 FR and attack power on it. So we're going ahead and put this ring on right here. And as you can see, we are almost at that mark of the 226 fire res, and then we can use our Onyxia attunement neck. So with your Oni attunement neck, you are going to be getting an extra 15 FR. While this has no stats on, I would only use this if you need that 226 FR. Luckily for me, I'm a mage, and so that gives me 15 extra. You can also use the Uber's attunement ring. It has 10 FR on it as well, but rings and jewelry tend to be powerhouses of your gear set. But the biggest one that we're going to talk about is that classes have internal gear pieces that just sort of give them FR. So like as a mage, I can go mage armor, and now I am at that 221 mark, and I can keep my DPS neck on. And then mages also have a talent here called magic absorption, so you don't lose, you just lose a chance for clear casting proc, which isn't the end of the world, to get even more resist as well. So this can be very, very good. Some classes have it, other classes don't. I lose a 4% chance for clear casting, so it's not the end of the world to get my magic absorption up. But if we are going to then take a look at gear, I want to show you so a few pieces that can also help you out if you're struggling. So the miniaturized fire extinguisher here from Zillagob will give you 20 FR, so this can be a really nice trinket if you do need it. Onyxia's head has 3 really good pieces of gear that have 3 really good FR sets on it. So as you can see, the Onyxia Tooth Pendant has 10 FR, the ring has 10 FR, and the Blood Talisman has 10 FR. I believe everyone uses all 3 of these in every setup. They are just biz pieces of gear for DPS and for a tank. So it's just an extra FR that you might not have on your rings. So I would definitely be using this as well. It helps a ton when you're hitting those FR thresholds. Then if you're wondering why I'm not at 226 with my magic armor and my Mark of the Wild, the last piece that I would be using is going to be my bracers for my tier set. So once I am able to get lucky enough to get those bracers here, this would give me the 5 resist that I am short in this current build that you see. So once I get the bracers, I will have the 5 res, and I will be at exactly 226. Now, this is with Mark of the Wild and an Imp Mark of the Wild. The difference is, as you can read, it says it only increases it by 20, but Druids have a talent in Resto that improves it, and it becomes 27 FR. It is also important to note that Shamans and Paladins, if you are Alliance, give you 60 FR. So I shoot for 200 because there are a lot of mechanics that knock you around, move you out of your totem range, and if you are out of that totem range, you will get conflagged and you will instantly die on Heat 3. There's not much that can be done to save you other than insane shaman behavior and usage. So this is a really good way to get it without having too much of a grind in order to get all those awesome pieces. Another piece to point out that you could target farm is the Uber's Cape. For casters, we use Brilliant Chromactic Cloak, which already has 8 on it, so it's only a 12 difference for casters. However, the Overseer Pyron's Wildfire Cape with the enchant, that's just 40 FR on a cape, which is huge to get. You can also use your Oni capes as well, since you will be needing those when BWL comes out, and it's just something to always be considering and thinking about. There are tons of options and choices that you can do to make these FR sets, but this set I'm going for is pretty much perfect for a mage, and it uses the least amount of spell power. Warlock, Shadow Priest, you can build something similar. If you are melee, I'm working on sort of doing that with my druid. However, I'm a tank, so I have a lot of the tier pieces as well. But tier pieces are the key to not losing too much power, and if you do not have tier, you're going to just have to focus on crafting the other flare core pieces. So like, instead of just having the fine flare core mantle and the fine flare core leggings, I would go into crafting and Thorium Brotherhood reputation and go and get those other pieces that exist for a caster. The other pieces are from Thorium Brotherhood as well, but it is a bunch of different pieces, so you just sort of have to take a look and mix and match. But I would use a fine flare core robe as well as the fine flare core gloves if I was lacking tier pieces, so you can have your 4 set of fine flare core in order to do this. Now, you do not have to be a tailor in order to get these fine flare core pieces. Or you do not have to be a leatherworker to get the other pieces, and you do not have to be a blacksmith. You just have to have these reps with Thorium Brotherhood, and you have to go to the quartermaster inside of the Grim Guzzler in order to get these fire res pieces. So that is the substitute for tier if you have not been raiding Molten 2 and you're not pretty much perfect with your gear set in order to achieve everything. But that's how I got to 26 as a mage. So anyway, guys, I truly hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you some ideas, and I hope if you have been doing Heat 2 and you're looking at Heat 3, this video truly helps you out a ton to getting there. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, anything, drop it down below. I love reading them and helping you guys out. But anyway, until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.